Sweet dreams. La 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 la. Sweetest dreams.
Thank you guys for being here. I've missed you guys. Hey, Riley, I've missed you back. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Pointer Lover. Hey, Mal. Good to see you. Hey, Hippie Chick. Hey, Lindsay, Luana, Pointer Lover, Girls Nana. Hey, Mayla's mom. I've missed you guys too. Hey, Nurse Kristen. Hey, Shauna. It feels like it's been a minute. It has been a minute. Hey, Artemis Prime. LJ, Sherry. Hey, Teacup. Alicia, good to see you. Hey, Kimberly. Okay, so yeah, it has been a minute. I had made a post on the members only, and we can talk maybe some more about this at the end, but just briefly, I will share with you guys. Bentley broke his arm, and it was a really bad break. We had to go to multiple hospitals after spending all day and half the night at one hospital. We had to go to a bigger hospital, like an hour and a half from that one. And even that hospital wasn't able to get it set correctly. They admitted us. Then the next day they changed their mind. They told us they were going to do surgery. Now they want to wait until Monday. It's been a whole thing, but yeah, so it's been pretty rough. And then, just other things with the kids getting hurt, bee stings, things like that. Lots of that happening at my house. So I'm just glad to see you guys. Thank you for being here. I'm sure I've fallen out of the algorithm some. YouTube doesn't notify most people anyways, and that's pretty disappointing. But I figured, there are a few things. Well, there are several things I wanted to talk about. Today, we're just going to narrow that down to two things in specific, and then we will talk about the other things on another day. But yeah, it's been rough. Hey, Marie in South Africa. Sweet Melissa, Harlot. Yeah, it's been rough. Hey, Lil Red, Sweet and Sleuthy. Oh, Mal, thank you for being a member for 16 months. Angie had a grandbaby. Congratulations. You guys tell Angie congrats. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Margie. Glow Bug. So I thought today we would talk about two things. We are not finished going through the lawsuit and stuff with Letitia, and there are some other things there that I want to dig into. We're waiting on some new calls. We've got June calls. We've got video visits. We're doing on Jen's channel. There's still a lot to do there, but I would like to mix it up. I don't want to just do that. None of us want to just do that. We want to mix it up. So today, we're not going to do any of that, but that will happen soon. Today, we're going to talk about, there's a new update with Chris Watts. So Dylan did an interview with the New York Post, and I'm going to read the new article that came out, and we're going to talk for a second about that. There's been a lot of channels who have covered it. It's really interesting the way it's picked up. Most of the things you guys, we've been talking about with Jamie and Dylan for a couple weeks now, and reading the books and stuff like that. It's been interesting to see how it kind of takes off into mainstream media. And yeah, I'm really curious if NK is sitting there somewhere watching this stuff. That's all I can think about when I look at it. I'm like, gosh, I wonder if, she's seeing this. She would have to. It's all over the place at this point. Then with Jocelyn Nungaray, I want to talk about an update with her. If you haven't followed the case, that's okay, because I pulled an article that I think will give us the rundown. I've covered it here, but there were some new things that came out about the suspects and kind of some things from the search warrants and their behavior and what they had to say. So I want to talk about that as well. So yeah, things have really blown up. It's crazy. Hey, Nature Rocks. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it everywhere. Law and crime, major big channels. Neat. Sorry I'm late. Please feel free to dock my pay. Thank you for being here. Angie, you've been a member for 16 months. Thank you. Thank you, Riley. He's doing okay. Oh, sweet and sleuthy. I bet you are an emotional mess. College, that's scary times for a mom. But I'm sure it'll be fun. It'll be just fine. Pointer Lover, thank you for being a member for 29 months. But yeah, he's doing okay. He just, I don't know. He's bored. He's a very active child. He's not one to lay around and kind of watch screens or TV too much. Like, he likes that stuff, but he also likes to be active. I think, like I said, we can talk about that at the end. I grabbed a picture I can show you guys. But for people who came and just want to hear the true crime stuff, I'll save that for the end. But yeah, thank you guys who have been members. I can't believe it. Pointer Lover, 29 months. That's crazy. Mal, 16 months. Angie, 16 months. And then Music City Mom. Hey, Luna. Hi, baby girl. I hope you're having the best day with your grandma. You have the best grandma ever. And thank you, Music City Mom, for being a member for 14 months. So we'll wait a minute and then we'll get into this article. Since we have little ears listening, I'll give it a minute. Hey, see Justice. I was waiting on you guys to find out what happened. Oh, more. Oh, wow. More stuff is coming. There is a storm brewing. Oh, wow. I don't know. I think Melissa's going to be off for the weekend. Bindi, I'm not sure. I hope that she'll go live tonight. I don't know. I know that I was going to try to cut it short by like 9 so that we can go over there if she does. So, oh, Jamie, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it's okay. Hey, Legendary. Hey, Chitty Chatty Mag. I'm glad that you're here. Hey, Anna Morris. Okay, so we'll get right into it. Sorry to chat so much. I've missed you guys. It's been a minute, and I have a lot to say. I could sit here and go on and on still, but let's go ahead and get started. So, Dylan has came out with the 3rd book in this series, and I've purchased the book. We are going to do what we do and go through it together with commentary, hang out, talk about it. But it will be here, I think, on Tuesday. They've been coming a day early, so maybe it'll be Monday, but we're definitely going to dig into that next week. Now, some of these things he interviewed with the New York Post, and like I said, this interview has really pushed what they were already talking to us about a couple weeks ago into the headlines. Oh, I love you guys back. I never really kept up with Watts. That's crazy because that is like, it's not what brought me to true crime, but it's what like fused true crime and social media for me. I've always been like very curious in what the actual truth was. And I don't think that we have that. So there's a few things that make me think that. And I've talked to you guys about this in depth at other times, but just for today, since we're about to get into it. So Chris Watts had this mistress, Nicole Kessinger, and that's what this article and some of these headlines have really focused on. But the mistress, there were a lot of things that didn't add up. The investigation was halted. We had investigators go on, public television and say the investigation was not completed. We were going like full force, full speed, and bam, we had to stop because he pled guilty and, the investigation was over. They had to put their time and efforts into something else. They have, many things that they have to do, right? So, which is really unfortunate. I feel like it should have been thoroughly investigated no matter what, but that's what happened. And there were some things that just don't add up. So first of all, Nicole Kessinger claims that she only met Chris just right before the murders, a couple months before, right? They worked together at Anadarko, Big Oil, Colorado, So she claims she only met him a few months before. However, we know that they found Google searches in her phone of her searching for Chris and Shanann multiple times, long before, a year before, 2 years before. There's one thing. Another thing, her cell phone pinged by the home that morning, and it never did that. The only other time in her history it pinged over there was when she admittedly went to visit. So that's another thing. Another thing is some of her searches were pretty concerning. She searched about, Amber Fry and writing a book and different things like that. Can you delete text messages? She did break her SIM card. She admitted that, some things had been deleted. She acted like she didn't want these private messages or private things to be out there in the public, like almost insinuating it was sexual. But so all of those things combined, plus other things, have me convinced that we might not have the full truth there. I have to think, though, and you guys let me know, what would she be thinking reading these articles? This is the New York Post, but this has been covered within the last week from Law and Crime, Court TV, Scott Reich. I mean, big channels, little channels, JLR, J is for Justice. I think What's the Obsession? Like, I've seen lots of different channels covering this. Why delete everything and break your SIM if nothing to hide? I know. That's what I wonder. Hey, Grandma Sherry, good to see you. And if you guys aren't into Watts, hold tight, because the second case that I want to talk about after could really use, if you are into Watts, please stay for that, because I've covered it before. It hasn't gotten a lot of attention. I thought it'd be great to try to funnel people over to that case after we talk about Watts. And then if you're, either way, please hang out and listen. Because it always means a lot to me when you guys are here and hanging out with me, but it even means a little more when it's an unknown case or something that could use extra eyes. Oh, is Bendy here? Bendy, we were just talking about you. Hey, James Blonde. Let's see. I doubt she's still living in Colorado. I know. I wonder that too. Are you going live tonight, Jen? We were just chatting about that. Oh, I hope you're having a fabulous weekend, Natasha. Okay. Never followed Watts, but I still find it interesting. Just wasn't on the island. Did you was there any, do you know anything? Is there anyone here that maybe I think many of you maybe didn't follow it, but know something about it. But is there anyone here that doesn't really know anything about it at all? Jen says, I've always thought NK targeted Watts. I think she saw him at work and set about finding out all the things and turned herself into the anti-Shanann. Well, that would make sense with the Google search. I really want to have a conversation with Bendy, with the Ward Case Studies, or A Dose of Jen Lou with Jen, and Melissa Jade, and Criminality, and Amber, and most of them have agreed to do it because they've all been, I've known them since I followed that case. That's kind of how I met them. But okay, so let's look at this article. Killer dad Chris Watts is now blaming Jezebel, mistress, for his decision to brutally murder his wife and little girls. Killer dad Chris Watts is blaming his former mistress for his decision to murder his wife and 2 girls, and only refers to her as Jezebel. The Post has obtained several handwritten notes from the 39-year-old Watts, who is serving a life sentence in a small cell at Dodge Correctional Institution. In one letter dated March of 2020, Watts wrote a prayer of confession. The words of a harlot have brought me low. Her flattering speech was like drops of honey that pierced my heart and soul. Little did I know that her guests were in the chamber of death. And we saw that, you guys. If you've been following along through the books, Dylan let us see this a couple weeks ago, Dylan and Jamie, when they came on. How did I let this happen? He continued. The blessings you have bestowed upon me were right in front of me, and I still followed the perfume of a strange woman. Watts shared most of his thoughts with Dylan Tallman, a fellow prisoner at the Wisconsin lockup who befriended Watts. Tallman was in the cell next to Watts, and the 2 men became close. We started talking, Tallman says. We had a lot of very long conversations, spiritual conversations. Tallman was in prison for possession of narcotics when he met Watts. Although he has served a sentence, he is now serving 4 months for driving on a suspended license, which was a probation violation. Her perfume smells like shit. Hey, Kathy. Nothing or no one could convince me to murder my kids. Yeah, no one could convince me to murder my kids or your kids, right? So I've never been on the island, but I know quite a bit. Watched all of the interrogation videos. That's kind of what, those are pretty much what drew me in. Like, I saw about the case, like I had seen his interview, seen it on the news, maybe watched a creator here or there that did like pre-recorded videos cover it. But when those interrogation tapes came out, oh my gosh. I just remember doing like all my chores for weeks and weeks listening to those over and over. No, you're right, Lil Red. You can't. Lindsay says the Chris Watts case is what got me into true crime. Tess, I'm so happy to see you. Hey, Trulia. Good to see you. Yeah, the thought would never even occur to me ever. Hey, Punksy. Hey, you guys. Who does Watts think he is, King Solomon? He probably steals Hallmark greeting calls and calls them love letters. Wait, I think he actually referenced that. Jamie, if you're still here, am I remembering that wrong? Was that referenced in one of these things that you guys have, that we've talked about? Hey, Kate. I know. When it came out that he had to kill the girls twice, I had to take a break. So awful. I should dig out my old book from Cheryl and Cadle where those letters are. Since we're reading part 3 of this book, maybe I will. The thing with the Google searches, I need to see the surrounding data. It's very difficult for me to know what that's about because we are missing so much. I agree, but I do know this. You know, they came out and said, because at one point it was said those were typos in the discovery, and the DA did come out and clarify that they were not typos. So, no Nicole Kessinger there in that photo. I mean, I don't know. Look, she's a beautiful girl. Like, she's not an ugly girl. I'm not going to sit here and shame any woman. I recently had a conversation with a family member of mine about this, and we were having a political conversation, and they started kind of repeating these talking points about a certain political person who's a woman. And I was like, wait a minute. No, you're a woman. We don't do that to other women, right? So I'm not going to sit here. I don't want to shame her. Like, now, don't get me wrong. I think that if you mess with a married man, that's bad. Like, you're a homewrecker. I don't like that. But I'm also not going to shame her looks and things like that. I just never want to be that kind of woman. Now, I will shame her for homewrecking, although I see it just as much fault on Chris. Like, for me, if the person who cheats that's in the relationship is no better than the person they cheat with. You know, sometimes a lot of anger gets directed at the person who, like, the mistress or whatever. They begin studying the Bible together, with Watts even calling Dylan his spiritual twin. They studied the scriptures together and talked daily, often encouraging each other about the hardships of life behind bars. So this is the rescue story. It says, and I think that we read this one because I remember, or he quoted this part in the book about the chamber of death. How did I let this happen? The blessings you've bestowed upon me were right in front of me, and I still followed the perfume of a strange woman. The web of the enemy squeezes around my heart and is cocooning my soul to the point of suffocation. The enemy and his Jezebel mock and scourge me as they celebrate another capture. But oh, that man would praise the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men. You, O Lord, did not leave me captive or condemned. You heard the prayer of the destitute and of the prisoner appointed to death. You opened my eyes. You made my ears ready to perceive, and you said, come forth. The web of death loosened its grip, and I walked into the light of your presence. As I humbly kneeled before you, you said, go and sin no more. Your faith has made you whole. In Jesus' name, amen. And then we have Dylan. For more than a year, Watts had planned to write a book with Tallman. When Watts changed his mind, Tallman has now released a series of 3 books called The Cell Next Door. Parts 1 and 2 are already available. The 3rd installment was released on Wednesday. The books detail how the lives of Watts and Tallman intersected and discuss how they became friends through Bible study and deep conversations. In the first book, Tallman said he and Watts called Nicole Kessinger Jezebel as they talked about her, a reference to a biblical woman who, by her teaching, she misleads my servants into sexual immorality. I was having an affair with this girl, and I ended up in love with two women at the same time. It's what led up to what happened. She is of evil spirits, like Jezebel, Watts told Tallman, according to the book. He admitted that he was stupid to cheat on his wife, and he asked God's forgiveness every day for his infidelity, Tallman writes. Watts claimed to Tallman that Kessinger told him to choose between her and his family on the night of the murders. Jezebel was the forbidden fruit, he allegedly said, and it was costly. Watts admitted to strangling his pregnant wife and taking the lives also of Bella and Celeste. It literally says this is awful. He suffocated them as they begged for mercy and stashed their bodies in oil drums. Watts pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Colorado prison officials soon arranged to have him transferred to Wisconsin for his safety. This article claims that Kessinger still lives in Colorado, but goes by a different name. She has not spoken publicly for several years about her relationship with Watts. She did not return the post messages for comments. So how do they know that she's still in Colorado? I'm really curious about that. It is brutal. Absolutely heartbreaking, man. Being a homewrecker is one thing, but to tear down another woman's looks is a different thing. Agree, Trulia. Totally agree. Hey, Jennifer. Yeah, it definitely is. But it definitely is great publicity for the books. I agree with you, Nurse Kristen, which, that's what people do when they write a book. They go around, even when Dylan came on here, right? And obviously, that's the point. You want to sell the books that you've written. But he's only talked so far with us in the Post, I think. But, it's interesting the way that the Post chose to, like, the title of the article and stuff. That's what, like, I really sit there and I see that and I can't help but wonder, is she reading this? Is she seeing this? You know what I mean? Gross. Take accountability, Chris. Stop making what you did seem all flowery. You cheated and you murdered your family for fuck's sake. Yep. Hey, Steffi. Hey, Sprinkled Donut. I never understood why they let her dad be in the room either. Hey, Deborah, let me see here. Tony, good to see you. I think her involvement makes her fair game for tearing down. I know. I wonder about her involvement, right? But at this point, I still wouldn't tear down her looks. But at this point, we don't know her name. We don't know where she's at. I don't know. No one's really ever came forward and given, like, I was a friend of hers, I went to school with her, that kind of stuff. So, I don't think people's opinions of Nicole Kessinger are going to hurt whoever she's turned herself into anyways, I don't know. I could see her still being there, especially given everyone expects otherwise. I wonder if her bald spot has grown back. I'm curious about that too. I saw Scott say he tried to go to her name change hearing and wasn't allowed. I have no words for Chris, said Grandma Sherry. They know. Oh, interesting. Just don't know what to think about all this. I feel like some of it is just BS, but it is getting a lot of attention. Well, that's part of the thing with Chris Watts. His name. He can literally say, so if it doesn't matter what he says, he's lied so many times, we can't believe it. But anything he ever says is going to really make a lot of, it's going to get a lot of attention because of who he is. Similar with Letitia, but I feel like her case never got nearly as big as this one, as far as like documentaries and things like that go. I would love to see a documentary about, the life and brutal death of Gannon. We've seen a ton on this case But it's just one of those cases, like Gabby Petito's case. Some certain cases they really blow up, and certain ones get no attention. It's sad. The one we're about to talk about, we're just about to get into, I've hardly seen it anywhere. The brown bikini always makes I think she smells like poo in the bathroom. Men have been blaming women for their misconduct since the beginning of time. Dylan seems like he's trying to make it on the outside the right way. Yeah, I hope so. I really do hope so. I think that, I don't know. I've already given my thoughts to you guys on that. So, anybody who can turn their life around, and I think it's definitely possible to change. And yeah, I love to see when people do that. I think it's super inspiring and special. So, I don't know. Millions of men cheat on their wives without killing anyone, let alone their wife and kids who trust them. NK is not responsible. Chris is, Scott H says. I'm literally ironing my sheets like a nut and listening to your beautiful voice. Ironing my sheets seems to soothe my anxiety, but it wouldn't be nearly as important without this conversation. All sweet and sleuthy. Thank you. Hey, crazy mama. I love that. Jamie will put a foot in his ass if he doesn't stay on a good path. All right. So now we're going to go segue into another case that I want to talk to you guys about. So let me see here. I've got this article pulled up from CNN, and it really goes into a lot of okay, so if you don't know this case and you didn't watch when I covered it before, that's okay, because this is going to catch you up. And then we're going to go into two updates that are important updates. One has to do with legislation changing because of this young lady and what happened to her. Hey, Being Bio Girl. Okay. So, a 12-year-old who loved Harry Potter and old music. What we know about Jocelyn Nungaray and the men accused in her death. You guys, this is so sad. So I'm just going to warn you now. I don't really like trigger warnings in true crime. I kind of feel like you should expect it. But we have such laid back, and sometimes, people's kids might be whatever. This one is rough. It's really rough, but it's important. And she does, some of these people streaming on the same case day in and day out, I would love to see other people get even a little bit of that attention. It is very sad, and it does require a bit of a warning just because it's awful. It's awful. So 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungaray was walking to a convenience store in Houston when she disappeared, police say. She was found dead in a creek earlier this month. Two undocumented men from Venezuela are accused of killing the girl, and both are facing charges of capital murder in her death, according to Houston Police Department. Both are being held on a $10 million bond this week, court records show. As Jocelyn's family laid her to rest Thursday, remembering her as a kind, good-hearted child who was her mother's best friend, the mayor called for justice, reminding attendees that children are not supposed to be taken off the streets of Houston. This is also the latest case to bring immigration to the forefront as a critical issue this election year, as the two men were in the country illegally, according to the U.S. Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Here's what we know about the case so far. So remember now, these men were not just here illegally. They had crossed in and been caught and taken in. And one of them was given an ankle bracelet because he didn't really have any family or anything in the area, and they were released. They did, they were waiting for a court date. Who was Jocelyn? And that is why I chose this article to give us a rundown, because I wanted to also focus on her a little bit. So, born on December 27th of 2011, Jocelyn's family called her a loyal, compassionate, and caring friend who supported those around her. Her kindness and zest for life are among the things her family wants people to remember her for. At her celebration of life service, Jocelyn's sister, Gabby, remembered how the two of them would laugh, play, cry, and get on each other's nerves. She described her older sister as smart and having a good heart. Jossie also gave me courage to be myself and speak up for myself, and for that I will always be grateful to you. I love you, Jossie, Gabby said. Jocelyn loved animals and wanted them all to have homes, not understanding why some were strays. Green was her favorite color. Jocelyn enjoyed fantasy, whether it was the magic of Harry Potter, vampire film classic Twilight, or the upside down of TV's Stranger Things, her obituary reads. She even had a crush on Stranger Things star Finn Wolfhard. She is survived by her mother, Alexis, brother, and her sister, Gabby, as well as her grandparents and numerous family members. Now, Jocelyn's mom, Alexis, she's not even 30 years old. I cannot imagine. Like she had said, we grew up together. She was a teen mom. I just can't imagine what she's going through, and my heart goes out to her. So, what happened to Jocelyn? Surveillance footage of the area obtained by detectives showed the suspects at a restaurant together the evening of June 16th. Lieutenant Stephen Hope of Houston Police said at a news conference, "We watched that here." The men left on foot and were later seen meeting and talking with Jocelyn, Hope said, before all three walked to a convenience store. A few minutes later, they went to a bridge. Prosecutors allege the men killed Jocelyn and threw her body in the bayou. Jocelyn's body was found along West Rankin Road in a shallow creek in North Houston on the early morning of June 17th. The 12-year-old was strangled to death, according to the medical examiner. Mom goes looking for Jocelyn, finds out she's not home, uses her GPS from Life 360, and follows that. And then when she gets there, runs into police in the scene. What we know about the accused men, and I will tell you guys that they have also been said that to have essayed her as well. Johan Jose Martinez Rangel, 22, and Franklin Jose Pina Ramos were arrested. He's 26, 22 and 26 were arrested June 20th, 3 days after Jocelyn's strangled body was found in the creek, according to Houston police. Both men from Venezuela and have entered the U.S. illegally. A spokesperson for Immigration and Customs told CNN, where and when they entered the country is unclear, but each had been apprehended near El Paso by U.S. Border Patrol. Martinez Rangel was on March 14th and Pina Ramos was on May 28th. They were released with a notice to appear in court in the future. An attorney for Ramos declined to comment, and an attorney for Rangel did not immediately respond. Both men are under immigration holds by federal authorities, according to Associated Press, which means they could not leave custody even if they could post bond. This is Jocelyn's mom in the middle, here in this picture. It's awful, you guys, I know, but it's important to talk about. It is. Like I said, it's even inspiring legislation and changes to be made as far as that goes. It's just important to talk about. After her daughter's body was found, Alexis Nungaray cried as she realized the heartbreaking news she would have to share with her family. I'm angry that they took advantage of her. She was so young. She was 12. You took my baby away. You took her away, the mother told local news on June 19th. Now I get to let her little brother know his older sister is never coming home. And then at a press conference on the 24th, she shared her frustration that her daughter's life was taken. She had such a bright future ahead of her, and I knew she was going to go very far. And, these monsters took that opportunity from her. During Thursday's celebration of life service, one of Jocelyn's favorite songs, Coney Island Baby, flowed through the crowded room as a slideshow of her life played. The song is from the 1960s and way before her time, but it fit Jocelyn's eclectic music taste. Stories emerged about Jocelyn and her sister making slime together and watching sunsets, reminding the room of a life lost too soon. Her great aunt broke down in tears, but she stirred some laughs when she talked about Jossie's love for books. Jossie loved to read. Anytime we were at Walmart or any store, that girl would try to beeline for the book section all day, every day. And there is a reception being held according to the family to support the family. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Because we're not going to the reception, and it's probably happened by now. Oh no, this article came out today, so it was maybe updated today. Okay, let me see something here. Oh, thank you, Grandma Sherry. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you guys. Okay, Seek Justice, have a good night. Thank you, Bernie Gores, for being here. They are disgusting creatures. DNA was everywhere. Well, we are not done. We've got to hear some more on this. So, let's see. I'm just going to play this.
Tonight, we are learning disturbing new details about the death of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungaray. 2 Venezuelan nationals are charged with murdering the young girl and dumping her body in a North Houston bayou. Stephen Goen has been going through a new search warrant we obtained tonight. Stephen, what have you learned?
Police actually filed this search warrant in an effort to get more information about one of the suspects' cell phone records. But there was additional information that may give us a better understanding of what happened the night Jocelyn Nungaray was killed. We have to warn you, some of the details here are graphic.
Before we get into these graphic details, let me just take a second. Sprinkled Donut says we could start a book drive in her name or something. Oh my, and I think that's an excellent idea. I just don't know how to execute that. And what would we do? Where would we give them? Like to children's home or I don't know. If you guys have any ideas how to make that happen, let me know, because I would love to do something like that. I think that's a really, really cool idea. So thank you, Sprinkled Donut. Okay.
This 13-page search warrant describes the contrasting interviews that Franklin Pena and Johan Martinez Rangel had with Houston police in the hours following their arrest on June 20th. Just a few days earlier, on June 16th, the 2 men charged in the killing of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungaray spent hours at an Ojos Locos sports cantina in North Houston before they met Jocelyn at the 7-Eleven on Rankin Road, according to police. According to the court document.
Wait, let me show you guys some, and we had seen these before. These are photos from the surveillance footage. I mean, little girl sneaks out of her house and, just here, let me let it.
The police. According to the court
Listen
document,
to this.
They asked her for directions, and the 3 of them left together. When speaking to detectives after his arrest, Pena said that he kissed Jocelyn on the lips after they walked away from that 7-Eleven. But in that same interview, he denied touching her and describes how a co-defendant allegedly killed Jocelyn. He stated that Martinez Rangel wrapped his arms around Jocelyn's neck and guided her underneath this bridge on Rankin, where he took off her pants and climbed on top of her. The search warrant states that Pena told him to stop, but he replied, quote, "I have to finish what I started." He told police Martinez Rangel later strangled Jocelyn to death and then tied up her hands and feet. That interview, starkly different from that of the second suspect. According to the warrant, Martinez Rangel initially distanced himself from the murder and claimed that Pena was solely responsible. He later told police that he did tie up Jocelyn's hands and feet, but he said he told Pena to throw her body into the bayou because he thought it would get rid of DNA evidence. Now, the search warrant also claims that both suspects had injuries on their arms when arrested. We don't know if that's because Jocelyn was fighting back. As I mentioned before, this search warrant was filed to obtain cell phone records. We are following up with Houston police to see if they found anything. At HPD headquarters tonight,
I'm just so disgusted by this. Look, I'm all for people being able to immigrate here. I'm all for, why is it escaping my mind right now? You know, when people are escaping violence, whether it's cartel violence, dictatorships, things like that, and what is it called? I'm all for helping people in those situations. I'm all for people being able to immigrate here. I just want it to be done responsibly and in a way that we can keep track of people. And even though I don't think the government needs to be in all of our business, asylum, that's it. Almost, Grandma Sherry, and thank you. Asylum, seeking asylum. I don't think the government needs to be in all of our business, but it's scary. You know, this is scary. Knowing that they were so bold, even with this ankle bracelet, to do something like that. I don't know. I'm disappointed. And you guys, the article didn't go into detail, but one of their bosses came forward. They all worked together, you know, lived together too. The boss lived with them as well, if I remember correctly. Came forward and said, you know, they were talking about they had done something and gotten in trouble and they needed to get out of there. I think they were trying to borrow money. Whatever. There are other details that kind of weren't in this little roundup. If you go to the stream that I did, I think it was just on this, you'll get more details. I'll share it after the live on the community tab. So the last thing I wanted to show you, and then I want to talk to you guys, just hang out for a minute and talk to you, and I'll show you the picture of little Bentley's arm. So I saw this today. Ted Cruz is a senator, Republican senator from Texas. He's not necessarily my cup of tea, but whatever. I don't care. I mean, I'm not in Texas anyway, and whatever. It doesn't matter. Not everybody's your cup of tea. However, I'm all about seeing, you know, people pay attention when these violent crimes happen and when laws are changed and adjusted because of that. I think that, you know, that's the best we can hope for, is that some kind of change can be made for the future. But I wanted to show this to you guys. So this is his government site. It says, in case you missed it, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and Harris County DA Kim Ogg penned an op-ed on leaders to set partisan differences aside and work together towards practical solutions to protect our children from predators who enter the country illegally. Senator Cruz recently introduced the Justice for Jocelyn Act with Representative Troy Nehls. The bill would improve the detention and tracking of illegal aliens entering the United States. In the piece, Senator Cruz and the DA wrote, our children's safety should not be a partisan issue. One of us, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, is a Republican, and the other of us, the DA, Kim Ogg, is a Democrat. We are both working to protect our kids from predators, including those who enter the country illegally. And look, there's a lot of people who kill people who aren't, you know, entering the country illegally. But, you know, we have to try to make changes where we can. I truly do believe that. And we have seen several cases that, you know, probably for political reasons, many of them have made it into mainstream media that usually we don't see that. There are so many cases. There are a few, like a handful, that get pushed into mainstream media, and then hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that never get talked about on the news. And we have seen, you know, an uptick in those cases making it to mainstream media. So in the U.S. Senate, Cruz has introduced the Justice for Jocelyn Act of 2024, which would require ICE to fill every detention center bed before releasing immigrants who entered the country illegally to an Alternatives to Detention program, and to immediately deport those who violate the terms of their release. In Houston, OG formed a homicide division to focus the best of the best on the worst of the worst. The most experienced prosecutors take on the most dangerous killers, including those who murdered Jocelyn. OG has publicly stated that if the evidence supports a death penalty eligible charge against the two killers, she'll bring it. In the meantime, she supports Senator Cruz's legislation because it will make everyone safer. So I'm going to link this article in the chat so you can read Ted Cruz's op-ed that was in the, let's see, where was it at? I don't know, my brain just like short-circuited for a minute where the op-ed was even written. Here, actually, I'll probably have to get you the link directly to it because this link for his website in the Houston Chronicle is quite long, but so let's try this. This is the op-ed if anybody is interested in reading it. Hey, Crystal. Yeah, send your ideas to me. I don't want to, like, if we can do like a way to collect books. I don't really want to collect money or anything. I'd rather keep it at maybe just books, and send them to maybe Jocelyn's school or another school. Excuse me, you guys, in Jocelyn's name. I hate coughing in the mic. We are a country of immigrants, but it needs to be done the right way. Unfortunately, that system needs to be fixed as well. It takes forever and costs a fortune. Yep. Hey, Crime Crochet and Coffee. We were talking about like doing a book drive or something like that. Oh, Julie, thank you for the super sticker in Jocelyn's name because she loved to read. Doing some kind of book drive. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. Sorry, you guys, I'm all scattered, breaking my sentences up. 1 minute talking about this, then that, then back to this. You know, look, I'm weird and not perfect, so thanks for dealing with me. God bless this precious child, absolutely. Crystal, where's your first comment? So let's see. I saw that about the Scott H. I know all about that. Like, I do keep up with politics, but I don't just watch one side or the other. Honestly, I watch, my favorite is the Young Turks. But, you know, they are progressives, which I'm not, but they criticize both sides. And so I really love that channel. And I watch mainstream media. But, yeah, I did see that as far as the bill that the immigration deal that was, you know, that we've missed out on. Good night, Alicia. Thank you for being here. Oh, that's cool. Oh, thank you, Homer. If it wasn't for you giving us this news, I'm sure there's several of us that would never. Oh, that is, I appreciate you saying that. And thank you for being here. You guys are the best. You've had a week. We'd all be scattered after that. We're all that way. Well, good. That's why we're together. You're doing an amazing job. Oh, thank you, B Crumbs. I love you. You're not weird. You're unique. You guys are the bomb. Beard Freak says, I just came in, but as a Texan, I hate Cruz. Yeah. You know, whatever. Sweet Melissa, that's why I love the Young Turks, because they are independently owned. And yeah, they're just freaking awesome. But I do watch mainstream stuff, really just to kind of see what people are saying. And I try to watch on all sides. Oh, Kate, thank you. You are so sweet. The personality prosecutor. Thank you, Kate. Supporting the best true crime channel on the tubes. You are so sweet, and thank you. Okay, so I'll show you guys Bentley's arm, and then I'll let you guys go. I didn't know. Did Jen ever say if she was doing a live? I wanted to try to be off by 9 just in case. But like I said, we still have Letitia's video visits to go over. The new phone calls we're waiting on, and the rest of the lawsuit. And then we have the new book coming from Watts. There's just so much stuff to talk about, and other cases as well. But there was a Lindsay Clancy update I posted on the community tab. The broken one, Lil Red. Thank you, Kate. Mainstream or paid actors. Yeah, trigger warning. I am going to show you guys his arm. It's just a picture of just his arm. You won't really see anything else. But just because I've really never seen something like this in person before. Let's see if it even came through. No, it hasn't came through yet. Well, maybe I'm not going to show you. What are you guys getting into this weekend? Bernie says, I've been all over YouTube this past week. I can truly say this is one of the best audiences, best communities, the creator. Oh, Bernie, thank you. I appreciate that. Look, I catch a lot of shit in the comments for like talking to the chat. And I'm like, duh, that's why you do live streams. If I didn't want to talk to the chat, I would do uploads, right? Like I love talking with you guys. Hey, Crochet Lover. Okay, again, trigger warning did just come through. So I'm going to show you guys. His poor little break, man. And then he got stung by a bee today. It's just been a whole thing, y'all. But, okay. Look at his little arm. Oh, my God. And he didn't even cry, you guys. It wasn't really until the anesthesia. Okay, so I wanted to chat with you guys for a minute while we're just hanging out at the end. Like, he barely cried when it first happened. He didn't really cry at all, actually. He kind of was, like, whining, but not really crying, and he was really scared. But they gave him ketamine before they tried to set it the first time because they did it multiple times. And the ketamine, he had a freaking allergic reaction to. You guys, it was so scary. Like, first of all, he started getting welts and a red rash when they first put it in him. And then they gave him more. Like, it started to wear off a little bit, and they gave him more, and it came back. And they were still considering giving him even more. And then, like, when he woke up, he was all scared, freaked out. He was tripping. It was awful. Oh, my God, I will never let them give my children ketamine again. Either one of them, if they ever need it. They have other things they can do at the other hospital. They were like, no, we would not do that again if he had a reaction. No way. Like, they were not even about that. They gave him propofol. It was much better. The ketamine causes bad dreams. So not only is he dealing with all the pain and trauma, and he's just traumatized, you can tell. Like, that's what I mean. He wasn't crying or anything. He was just so shaken up. He kept saying, this feels like a dream. After the ketamine, he had a bad dream coming out of it. And they said that it causes bad dreams for people. It was just a whole thing, y'all. Oh, my God. It's been a couple days. Crystal, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so much. And I was trying to look for your first comment. I couldn't find it in the chat. I only seen the second one that talked about the brittle bones. But I know that you have been through it with one of yours and broken bones. And I'm so sorry. I hope that you guys get help and get everything fixed and feel better soon. I don't know. It's just scary and awful. Natasha, I didn't either. I did not know they gave it like that either. What did Nurse Kristen say? It's a paralytic. That's true about watching both sides. Harlot, he was riding the scooter, and we just had like a new little basketball court paved. Like, my dad had a little basketball court made in between our houses, my house and their house. And they had the scooters, and he just learned to ride a bike like 2 days before this, completely by himself, right? He's been like wanting to get it figured out for a long time, and just got it figured out and was on the scooter after that. And they're like going in circles, and there's like a drain thing in the cement, but it's supposed to have a cover on it, which it did, but the cover was like pushed down too far, and it created like a little dip in the cement, and the scooter hit it, and he fell off. And when he tried to land, like, he put his arm down to catch himself. And yeah, it's just, yeah, No, oh my God, Nurse Kristen, really? Yeah, it scared the hell out of him. It was horrible. Verse can cause that with kids too. Natasha, it was awful. Solo mom, yes, I do actually. Let me see. Oh wait, it has because I sent it to Melissa and let me crop it and I'll show you guys next time because it has his name and all that stuff on the like. It's kind of hard to. It'll be kind of hard for me to pull it up and not show everything like that. Hey, PJ Becky, good to see you. Ketamine is not safe as much as they want to try and use it more. I had dental surgery with anesthesia and they gave me ketamine because they couldn't get their O2 tank with propofol. Oh my gosh, was never given any medication due to allergies. 3 times. Oh man, Tony, I'm so sorry. I can't believe they gave him that. Oh, being bio girl, I'm sorry to hear that. They said something about the reason they did ketamine for, they gave him fentanyl, you guys. Fentanyl. Which I was not happy about, but also it was, a doctor who wanted to do it and it was through an IV and just a little bit. But so that was when we first got to the hospital. Then to set it, they did just ketamine. At the second hospital, they told me the reason sometimes they like to do ketamine is because it takes care of pain and anesthesia. And if you're putting them out with like propofol, then you have to have a pain med with it. And so it's like a 2-in-1, basically, is what they explained to me. But I don't know. Both arms, and it looks like oh, man. Crystal, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Kate, they did. And I will always mention it because, yeah, it scared the hell out of me. When he started waking up from it, it's both bones, Solo Angel Mom. When he started waking up from the ketamine, his eyes were just like kind of bug-eyed. Like he looked like he was straight up tripping, like he was on acid or mushrooms, like the way people look. I just, yeah, not happy about it. But it's literally called dissociative aesthetics, causes you to disassociate. Yeah, he said he had a terrible dream. Little Red, not yet, because he don't have his cast yet. He'll get it Monday. They wanted to give me for my MS. I refuse every time. I don't blame you. Used to be Demerol and general anesthetic. Yep. It was awful watching him go to sleep on it. Yes, it is so scary. But anyways, you guys, fentanyl in a medical setting is safer than ketamine. I know, but it's just scary. You hear so much about people overdosing on it so easily. And when I got clean, like, it was just when fentanyl was just starting to creep in. Like I did try it a couple times because I was doing heroin, you guys, and there was people that were like mixing it in with their stuff, and it was very strong. It caused a lot of people to die, and you always hear about, somebody can just get the littlest amount if they have no tolerance. So it just scared me knowing that, Let me see. I think I missed something. I had an awful trip and was screaming in terror, and the dental staff, oh my God, Scott, I am so sorry. And they're laughing. Oh, hell no. That's bullshit. And I am so sorry that happened to you. Yeah, Beard Freak, ketamine and fentanyl, they sure did. Not together because it was like a couple hours apart. So they tried to set it at the one hospital and couldn't get it. And then the second hospital, they still couldn't get it. The x-ray that I have that I'll show you guys that shows the breaks, I'll have to crop it. And we'll next time, like at the end of a stream or something, I'll show you. But it shows the bones, like one of them looks like it's in line. The other one is not in line. But the doctor did tell me, because they're like, we're going to have to do surgery. He can't eat anything. We'll put him on the schedule in the morning. And we get up that morning after we've been admitted to the hospital and stuff. And the doctor's like, basically, they would try to get it as close as they could. But if it wasn't perfect, you know, he doesn't want to jump to surgery immediately because kids' bones don't have to be perfectly straight, and that they create a callus that can help them grow, and it'll be fine. I don't know the exact words he used, but basically it'll be fine unless the bone shortens. When we come on Monday, if it's retracted any and shortened up, you know, you don't want one arm to be shorter than the other, that kind of thing. So I'm really hoping it hasn't. I don't know, man. I don't want to see him have to take any more freaking medicine. That's just where I'm at. I'm done. Done. I don't remember Music City, Mom. Look, my son looked like he was contorting when he gave him the ketamine. I don't know, you guys. But anyways, all right. So he's doing pretty good today, but yeah, lots of stress. And, you know, I'm sorry I haven't been here. I'm going to try to put so much more effort into doing more regular streams. And when summertime's over, it'll be a lot easier too. I know it would be so much easier if we had like a regular time. I just chose this time tonight because Melissa's not going to be on this weekend, and it works for me on the weekend. It wouldn't usually because of football and stuff, but I promise I'll find the time, and I'll be a little more active. I do miss you guys, and I feel bad because sometimes I know some people don't really have anybody else in person. Maybe they're sick. I don't know. There's all these different reasons. And Pinche Becky, I am so proud of you. She says, that's why I pass out fentanyl and trank testing strips. It doesn't matter where they're getting their illegal stuff. The drugs are getting drugged. And yeah, I'm so proud of you for doing the harm reduction and sticking with it. I think it's awesome. Thank you, Tess. Ask them about a nerve block next time. Okay, Nurse Kristen, I will, and thank you. It's really scary. When our kids are sick or injured. Harlot, I don't know if the bone can shorten overnight, or maybe he means that if it moves at all to a position where it will retract. I don't know. But yeah, he says he wants to do another scan on Monday. So we shall see. Oh, thank you, Natasha. I did research after, and the theory is that the awful trips on ketamine happen to people unprepared for the loss of self in the trip. No clue they used it in pediatrics. There's no way to wow. They will never use it on my kids again. I'm telling you, no. For one, he obviously has an allergy. For two, seeing your baby tripping like that, if there's other options, just too scary. Oh, Tess. Thank you, Grandma Sherry. Thank all you guys. I just appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, I hope you have a good weekend. The summer's almost freaking over. I can't believe it. Thank you, Beard Freak. I love summertime. It's my happy time. I mean, fall is nice and all because all the yummy scents. But yeah, I'm going to be so sad when summer's over. But anyways, all right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here and hanging out with me and going through the article we went through with Watts, with Jocelyn's case, and just hearing me fuss and complain and kind of give you the rundown of what's happening in my life. Yeah, and I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I definitely will see you tomorrow if you show up. I will show up, though. I promise I will be here. So we'll see if you're here. Rusty, I've seen them called that before, K-holes. Oh, thank you, MK. Have a good night. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. Bye.